Welcome guys to my Melfi deck profile that I have for you today. So Melfi is a very cheap deck that you can buy for like I think under €1, where all the cards of the core set are well under €1 or well under $1 or whatever you use. So the deck that I'm going to show you is a deck that is mostly played around going first, then second, then going first. I am a new player to Yu-Gi-Oh! So I am going to play some easier to understand cards for myself. So that's how I like to play the game right now, and I am trying to learn all the decks and that are in the format this way. So let's go back into it. So we'll start beginning with the core set of actually a full Melfi deck. And the cards that are first introduced for me is new cards released are Merry Wally. Merry Wally is a very strong card. It's a 3 at everything. Every Melfi says when opponent's monster special summons a monster, you can bounce them back for an effect, or when they target it for an attack, you can also bounce them back for their effect. Wally says summon 2 Melfi monsters from your deck. So that's very strong, because most of the time you will summon one of Puppy from this effect, and Puppy says when it is bounced back you can special summon a beast monster from your deck, and that's very strong. That's why I play Melfi Puppy at 3, because it's a strong card, because I also play Calentosa at 3. Most of the people I see it playing with 2, because it is a brick in your hand, but I also, in this full Melfi deck, I play a card that can utilize it even though it is in your hand, so I play 2 cards for that. So Calentosa says when it is special summoned by a beast effect, you can pop a card on the field, so a spell card, trap card, or even monsters, of course. So that's why I really like this card at 3. Because this deck is more of a grind deck than a OTK deck. I play 2 Catty because I don't like it at 3, because it is a brick when you get multiple hands, and you really do not want that, and it's so searchable of so many cards. Melfi Catty says when it is bounced back, you can add a beast from your deck to your hand. So that's very strong. So you can add every beast in your deck to your hand. The beast that you will mostly add to your hand by the effect of Melfi Catty is Melfi Penny. Melfi Penny is also a new card from the Power of the Elements that came out, that says when a Melfi monster is added to your hand this turn, you can special summon this card and then immediately synchro summon monsters, because it is a tuner, with Melfi monsters from your hand. So that means that you can make some interesting plays, because you can make cards depending on the amount of Melfis in your hand. So with 4 you can make the newest Merry Melfis, with 6 you can make some plays that I will show all later. But for this budget core I will show you how that is going to be. And I also play 1 Melfi Fanny and 1 Melfi Pony. Melfi Fanny is for the Calentosa bricks, is one of the Calentosa bricks, and Melfi Pony is to get a beast monster back to your hand from the graveyard. This card is actually super good, because you are playing the grind game, and you will keep getting cards back to your hand from the graveyard to use them again and again. And Melfi Fanny special summons a beast monster from level 2 or lower from your hand. So that's also pretty strong. It is the worst card, but it's pretty strong when you have a Calentosa to deal with. So the next 3 off that I like is a 2-cent card also, and that's Nimble Beaver. Yeah, let's go, the Nimble Beaver package. Because when you normal summon, you can special summon, and then you can make the Xyz monsters, because they need 2 level 2 monsters. Why I play 3 is because you can recycle them with Melfi Pony, adding it back to your hand and using the other one in your deck. And there's also more to use it with. You can also, when you are side decking, you can side deck 1 out, because most of the time you will know if you need to play more of a grind game or you have to play a more fast-paced game. So we have a new card from the Power of the Elements, and that's Melfi Staring Contest. I only play this card at 1 because it is searchable of your Xyz monsters. And its effect is not that great. You can put back a beast monster to add back another Melfi monster. So it is actually great at removing Fanny from your hand to add a Melfi Wally. You can remove your excess Nimble beavers. You can throw away excess Melfi of Rescue Cat if you want to play that. So that's why I like this card a bit if you really need it. And its second effect says when your opponent is in his battle phase, at the start of the battle phase, you show all your Melfi monsters at your opponent, and their attack will reduce the opponent's attack for all the Melfi monsters attack and defense in your hand. So that's 400 attack for your opponent's monsters per Melfi in your hand, because they all have a total combined of 400 attack and defense. So my tech card of this Melfi deck is the strongest Melfi Hide and Seek. This card is insane in my opinion. It does two things. You can add back 3 of your beast monsters in your graveyard and draw a card. And not only that, it also says when a each beast monster is destroyed it is not destroyed. So if we say I have, let's say, 2 Nimble beavers, he is trying to destroy it with a card effect, it is not destroyed, and then he tries to destroy the other, it's also not destroyed. So it's each. So that's very strong in my opinion. So this card, even in grand games, it's very crazy to add back. So that's why I like Melfi's, and it's also so very cheap. And the last card in the core set of this Melfi deck is of course Obedience. Even crazier, it's not once per turn. Yeah, it's crazy. So it gets Ash, you can activate another one. So that's why you can play it at 3. At 3, my apologies. So this is the core deck that I like core. So if you don't like certain cards, you can always remove the Beaver Warriors, the Pony, and the Fanny. But I like to play it more of a pure deck. So for the just the core extra deck, I am playing 2 Melfi of the Forest. Melfi of the Forest, you can detach a card and search any Melfi card. So there are very crazy boards you can make with this card. Well, core boards, add cards. And when a Melfi is returned to the hand, you can negate a monster. So that's very strong. Joyous Melfis also at 2. I like this card. You can all these cards require 2 level 2 beasts, and this card can have more beast as material for his effect. So you can detach one and attack directly. So when you want to play Zeus, it's possible. And his second effect, when in your opponent's turn, you can return this card to the extra deck, or actually you can return every Xyz monsters to the extra deck, and then you can special summon monsters up to the number of materials that were on the card. So most of the time you have 2 materials on this card. Let's say you have a Calentosa and you have a puppy, just something I am using very often. You return it to the extra deck, you can special summon these 2, and you can pop a card, and you can actually pop another card if this card gets activated. And that's what I really like about this card. So it's a very strong card. And the last cheap deck option is Merry Melfi's. This card is actually pretty good. You can make it in your opponent's turn with Melfi Penny, and then you can bounce a card back to their hand. So that's also very cool for an extra interruption that the Melfis will have. And not only that, you can also return this card to the extra deck to special summon a Xyz monster back. So when you have summon Melfi or the forest back from your back, or when you summon it from your extra deck zone, you can of course have another negate if you had another Melfi on the board. So this is the core that I have. So you can add anything you want, anything. So the core is this cheap, and you can play around with it a little more. The cards that I use are for the deck is a little bit stacked with a lot of cards, but I like it this way. The extra cards that I'm playing are 3 rescue cats. You can make this card too, and most of the time when I side deck, you can remove 1 or 2 and still have another one, but this card is just a good combo card. You can tribute this card and summon 2 beast monsters from 3 or lower to your side of the field. So that's really crazy for more combos that I'm going to show you with this card later on. So it's a very, very solid card. I play 1 Hop Air Squadron. It's actually the same as Melfi, Merry Melfis, but you have to use monsters on the field to make cards. So this card can make Merry Melfis or more cards, depending on what I'm going to show you some more, but so you have a little bit of an idea. I play 1 Alpha, the Master of Beast. It's an expensive card, but it's just an extra card that you can special summon as long as they have more attack points or attack value on their side of the field, and then you can bounce a card back from them, and then you can special summon him again, but you cannot bounce back again, so keep that in mind. It cannot attack directly, so keep that in mind when you activate or uses this effect, so keep it in mind. And this card is also searchable of Melfi Catty, so hey, why not, right? For the traps, I play 3 Impermanence, because Impermanence is just a good negate card, why not? And this card is actually pretty cheap, like $5. Or when I bought the structure deck, it's very crazy. Because I am first, I'm also playing the barrier, because this shuts down decks a lot. Same as our favorite not yet banned card are the artifact sanctums to special summon a artifact scythe from your deck, because it will also lock them out. And not only that, because you are going first, or well, this deck is for only first right now, I'm playing also 3 Trap Trick to get all those nasty negates out there. Love it or hate it, these cards are just very amazing to play. For my also expensive side deck, because these are more of my cards that are very expensive, but you can play around it with yourself, because this core itself is very strong. But because of Sprite, I'm playing for the fun 3 sphere modes. So keep in mind, this is not a pretty good card, but it's just very awesome, very beautiful. You can tribute summon 3 of their monsters and just special summon this, and because you are in your grind game, this is a very strong card. And not only that, you use up your normal summon, but this deck doesn't really need his normal summon, except for Rescue Cat and Nimble Beaver, but those are the only normal summons in this deck. I really like cheap options like Dark Hole to just destroy every card on the field, because I think it's very strong to just destroy. I don't have Raigekis because those are a little bit expensive, even though some cards are more expensive, but they will be in here as soon as I have a good set of them. I play, because I'm a new player, I really love Kaijus. Kaijus are very amazing. It's just like very strong. I play 3 of the Gardala? Let me look. Yes, 3 Gardala for the Fluanderies. The best way to play is 2-2-2, but I only have 1 Gamasuke. So you can remove 1 for an extra Gamasuke if you have it, but I do not yet have that. But 2-2 is way better. And the last card that I do not have with me right now, because that's in my extra deck, is Interrupted Kaiju Slumber. That's a spell card that destroys every card on the field and you can summon one kaiju for your opponent and for yourself. So that is my normal deck, and let me get some better lighting. Yes, some better lighting. So more cards that I have to make it a little bit more expensive are of course Zeus. Zeus is a very strong card that you can easily make in this deck to remove the boards. I also play Borosword. It doesn't come up very often, but because you can special summon a lot of cards, like when you Obedience Schooled and you summon another card, you have this card. That's pretty crazy. And the last card that I have right now is Desert Locust. Like I said with that Hop Air Squadron, you can make this card with cards on your field and then just let your opponent discard a card. And there are more crazy plays, but I will show a link in the description that has some more plays with OCG cards that I am definitely going to use. So these are the cards that I have right now, but there are more cards you can play in this deck that I did not play or have not tested out yet, which I will show you right. So for some extra spell and trap cards that you can play in this deck is, if you like to Melfi tag. Melfi tag is just a special summon for a Melfi monster from the graveyard, but it can be used as extenders for more XZ summons that I'm going to show you, more synchro summons. And it's searchable of Melfi of the Forest, just like this very strong card, Melfi Playhouse. I have yet not tested this card, but I have seen some things and it's very strong. You can target one Xyz monster that you have on the field, or Melfi Xyz monsters of course, where you can detach all his materials, and then you can target up to those amount of cards and return them to the hand. That is just like that can be very strong, and it's searchable of Melfi Forest. And the last spell is Hire's Rock Sunrise, if I'm saying it correctly, and this is just special summon a beast monster from the graveyard, and then your opponent's monsters will lose 200 attack for each beast, plant, and winged beast monsters currently in your graveyard, and you can only use this effect once per turn. So you can play this card and summon back MELFFY if it's in the graveyard, Melfi of the Forest, Merry Melfis, or any beast monster you want. And also a beast monster that you can special summon if it's in the graveyard is of course Naturia Beast. This card negates every spell card there is, from your opponent of course, if you want that. And this card is easily searchable and easily makeable when you use tech cards like I have no idea how you spell this card, so let me... the Valerie Fawn. When you use Valerie Fawn, the mystical beast of the forest. This card, its effect says you can discard a card and special summon a beast, level 2 or lower beast monsters. It's a tuner, so you actually need only one more beast monster if you use a level 2 card to summon back. Which is possible, which I will show you later on, because we also play these two cards, Mind Mole and Key Mouse. Well, you can play, I'm not playing them, but you can play. If you have Rescue Cat, you can tribute Rescue Cat, summon these two, have a easy spell negate, just from one card, if it's not negated by an Ash or an Imperm, of course. So that's pretty crazy. And Key Mouse, it's just a one tuner if you, for instance, if you just hard root this card or the Mind Mole, you can just summon this tuner out with 2 level 2 monsters, and then of course makes Naturia Beast. But it's a very, if you play this card, you better play other cards that really can destroy. That really can bounce this card back, like Melfi Staring Contest. There are also some plays you can make if you cannot buy Rescue Cat. You can also have Rescue Rabbit, and then you can tribute Rescue Rabbit. It does the same thing as Rescue Cat, but you can special summon 2 normal level 2 monsters. So if you really want to go cheap, you can special summon a Melfi Rabby if you really want to. Some more tech cards that I have for you right now is Herald of the Arclight, just a trap and just a spell and trap negate. So why not? You can make it with Melfi Penny plus another card. You can make it with the other tuner that I had just now that I forgot, the mythical forest guy. Yeah, just another negate. Why not? Sky Cavalry is a very good Zeus card. 2 level 2 monsters. It cannot be destroyed by battle and it has materials. You attack, make Zeus, easy. You can also even return cards to the hand if you want to. Like, you can attack and detach, return the card that you attack to the hand with this card. A Melfi card that you can play is Melfi Mummies. I really do not like this card. You can quick effect attach a Melfi monster from your hand to this card, and then this card gains effects equal to the amount of cards it has attached. 3 cards it cannot be destroyed by battle. 4 cards you take no battle damage from attacks involving this card. And the only card the only effect that does matter when it has 5 materials, your opponent takes damage equal to the attack of the monster it battled. So I do not really like the card, but if you play a full Melfi deck, this card can be something else because it cannot be destroyed, of course. So the attack cards you can use is number 45. This card, also 2 level 2 monsters, target a face-up monster and negate its effect. And also all the other cards cannot use their effects. So it's a 22 beast stick, it's a negation, it can be played in this deck, so why not if you want to. The next card is number 46, Ronin Raccoon Sendai. This card is actually pretty crazy. It costs of course two cards. It's a beast monster, and you can detach a card and then summon a token. That token is gets attack equal to the highest attack monster on the field. So you can attack over their clash into their monsters, and then you can summon another token the other turn. So that's kind of an interesting effect. You can play Gachigensu. If this card is destroyed, you can detach 1 card. It gains 200 attack for each detached monster. It's just a cool card. I really like the art of this, and I just bought it just because why not. The next card is number 69, Dark Mist. This card, when it is in attack with a monster, quick effect, you can remove half of this attack of that monster, and this card gains that attack. So you will only do 100 attack or 100 damage to their life points, but you can remove a monster from there. So it's just a funny attack card. And as last, we have Onibimaru, the Soul Sweeper. And with this card you can just banish a card they have until the end phase, just to try to push for lethal if you really need to. Another card that I have in my deck somewhere, I forgot to show it and I just reminded me. I will put it up on the screen, and I also forgot its name. You only need 2 earth monsters to make it, and when it is destroyed you can add earth monster from your graveyard to your hand. I will put it up on the screen. But this is my deck profile for all the Melfis. I hope you liked it. And show these Melfis some off. I really think Melfis can be a tier 1 deck, or at least a very strong deck, especially when it goes first. Thank you all for watching and have a nice day.